Hey, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in to Call the Cops. My name is Officer Jamie Keneally, and as always, and I know I say it all the time, but we have a great show in store. Tonight, we got two great guys, two great police officers in studio, and two guys doing a lot of good stuff. Now, people always ask the question, what are we, as the Boston Police Department, are we doing enough, or what are we doing to kind of bridge the relationship between, our officers and young people? And I got to say, in answer to the question, again, tonight's guests are doing plenty of just that. In fact, about 3 years ago, Police Officer Darrell Owens and Police Officer Billy Baxter came up with the idea of a Teen Police Academy. And as you can well imagine, the goal of the Teen Academy is to bring police officers and teenagers together. They bring them together at the Police Academy. They teach them a number of great things. And it's about, again, fostering a relationship and fostering understanding between us and the young people. Now, I had a chance to stop by the Academy the other day, and I got a chance to see what Billy and Darrell do firsthand, and let me tell you, they're doing some great, great work. The kids are engaged, the kids are excited. Kids are tired, too, as you will see with the video that we shot. But simply put, this program rocks. The kids are challenged, not just challenged, but challenged to be better citizens. And Billy and Darrell are really working hard to impress upon these kids that they can, in fact, make a difference in their communities. They've got classes, they've got workshops, they've got guest speakers, and, again, they've got PT, or what we like to call physical training. And let me tell you, to say the least, these kids are being put to the test, and a lot of good stuff is going on. One other quick note, the theme of the Teen Academy is there's an emphasis on conflict resolution. So by the time these kids are done, they're learning, again, how to go back into the community and make a difference, resolving conflict. So without any further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome in tonight's guests and the creators of the Teen Police Academy. Do I get that right?
That's right.
Darrell Owens, Officer Darrell Owens.
Jamie,
thank you, sir. Officer Billy Baxter.
All right.
Before we ask any questions, you guys are classmates?
Yeah.
Wow.
2489.
2489.
That's right.
Yeah.
Darrell looks a little bit younger than
I do. Thank you for pointing that out.
But you guys look 2489, which means I look like 23, whatever, 2388. But that's beside the point. Got a chance to see the program. You guys are doing great work. Can't say that enough. But the idea, the program is 3 years old. Where'd the idea come from? Darrell, I'll start with you.
Well, Billy is a community service officer in District B2,
Yep.
and I work at the Academy. And from time to time, we've had an ongoing relationship where he would say, Darrell, can we bring a group of teens up to the Academy and give them a tour?
Yep.
So on this particular evening, we had a group in, and one young man just had had a hard time listening during the lecture, paying attention, just having just a common, respectful attitude.
Yeah.
Some of the other officers that were there with us really corrected this young man very harshly. And Billy and I thought, he doesn't really know where he is. And that was, we had just a passing conversation with, he doesn't really know where he is. And then not more than 5 minutes later, Billy came to me and said, Darrell, why don't we show them where they are? Why don't we do a police academy for teenagers? So it was Billy's idea, and I just jumped right on board, and we went from there.
So, problem kid or kid who's up there and he's not behaving the way that he should.
Right.
And you guys are saying, all right, yeah, the kid's acting out, but you know what? There's something here.
Right.
And we can bring kids in and maybe teach them a little bit about where they are and who we are. Is that the idea as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Again, going back to what Darrell just said, what we did was we shared a vision, and that vision was to see young people, to see the best come out of them. And so our brains started working together. We started thinking about how do we do that? And this Teen Police Academy came up. We both bought into it. We knew that we looked at youth in a different way than many do in the community. We recognize that the youth are not the problem, but they're largely the part of the solution to what's happening. And so we wanted to begin to address that. We know that less than that 1% of kids, less than 1% of the kids
are causing trouble.
Are causing trouble, right.
Well,
well, actually, it's only 1%.
Yep.
And then that 99% are young people that are just waiting to have some direction, waiting to be encouraged, just waiting to get from someone
Yep.
the information that they need in order to become, again, stakeholders.
But they're getting a bad rap. But like you said, true point. They're looking for guidance. These kids, like you said, want to be difference makers. They want to be part of the solution. So you guys have the idea, and so how do you do that? How do you accomplish that goal? And kind of what do you do? What's the goal of the program when you bring these kids in? What's kind of one of the first things you're emphasizing day one? Guys, you're here today, and here's what we want you to get out of it.
Well, the problem, first it starts with understanding what the problem was.
Okay.
The problem was the divide between teens and police. We didn't speak their language, and they don't understand our language. So we decided to devise this academy to bring those two groups together, to take them back to the roots of being a police officer, which happens at the police academy, and show them a few of the things that police officers learn. The first place we start is where we start with police recruits, is this is a place of discipline and respect. And this is why it's a place of discipline and respect. We teach them that we'll always respect them, and they'll always respect us. And so we have a rules contract with a few simple rules that they sign, and then we begin. And really one of the first places that discipline and respect happens is on the PT field, the physical training field, where they learn if we say do it, do it.
Yeah. People who don't know you may not realize that you've got a command presence and the ability to kind of notch up the volume a little bit.
From time to time.
Yeah, I've never seen it myself, but I've heard. So what? I mean, so is this new to the kids? Is it a shock to the kids? I mean, how do they receive it when they come in and they sign the contract and you guys say, "Hey guys, it all starts with discipline and respect." What reaction do you get?
Well, initially the kids bristle against the idea.
Because they're kids.
Nobody wants to be told what to do.
Right.
And they're kids, they're adolescents, so they're trying to find their way. The girls are trying to decide what kind of women they'll be, and the boys are trying to decide what kind of men they'll be. And they don't necessarily want input from two old guys like us.
It's a tough sell. But like you said, they're not necessarily big fans of police officers, but they're in an age where it's all about voicing opinions and acting out and doing all that stuff. So
Well, but what happens is not only do we bring them to, we teach them the concepts of respect, and we're going to give them respect. But along with that respect, we're giving them we're pouring inspiration into them at the same time.
Okay.
And slowly but surely, you can see their heads, their personalities begin to turn towards us instead of moving away from even the disciplines. They begin to, in some ways, police themselves, if you will. They begin to correct themselves for the different attitudes that are going against what's actually happened. They realize we're not trying to hurt them.
Right. I mean, you guys are setting goals, but you guys are asking these. You're setting a high goal, high standard, but you're all at the same time saying, "Hey, listen, if you put the work in, there's a lot you can do. There's a lot you can accomplish." And I imagine you guys are like, "And we believe in you." How often? I mean, they can't be used to that message from a police officer, not for nothing, but we believe in you, and we want to see you succeed. And arrest is not our first option. How do they respond to that? And what do you hear from the kids when?
Initially, when they meet us, they associate the police with trouble.
Right.
Trouble happens and the police show up. What they don't understand is that just like they're normal human beings with normal thoughts and emotions, we are too. But what they end up embracing is the structure. They know that they're safe. They know that if there's a lecturer that they're not seeing eye to eye with, they can raise their hand and in a very respectful way say, "I don't agree with that. Can you explain that deeper?" We teach them respect, but we don't try to restrict them with respect. We want them to be themselves, but to be able to express their differences in opinion, their thoughts and attitudes, and what's on their heart in a respectful manner. And when they get that, they're empowered.
So with that thought in mind, you know, they get the freedom to express themselves, but do so respectfully. What do they say to you guys about us as police officers? I'm curious to find out what their perception would be, because like you said, and it's true, more often than not, when we show up, it's because something bad happened, somebody needs help, and it's to resolve a conflict, and it's not a, you know, the terms aren't always the best, but what are they saying to you guys about us?
Well, it varies. I mean, of course it changes. They come in the door and they have their preconceptions. Yeah. Okay, but slowly but surely, because of the interactions that they get from us, it begins to change. But not only that, one of the things that Dow and I won't do is we won't co-sign for officers that they feel have done things wrong to them. We don't try to co-sign for that.
What do you mean by that? You don't co-sign?
Meaning that we don't necessarily, if we can agree with them if they feel as though that they've been wrong.
Yep.
And we can say to them, although we weren't at the situation, we don't actually know, but based on what you're telling us.
Yep.
And so when we do that, we begin to feel what they feel. We become empathetic to what they feel, and then we rebuild them.
Which helps
with
foster understanding. Because like you said, if they say, hey, one day I don't have to do this, you're right. It's one thing to be like, oh, please, that didn't happen. You ain't getting anywhere. But when you say, you know what, if that happened, and we're going to assume what you're saying is right, that shouldn't have happened. That's not right. That's not what we're about.
And let us tell you.
Then from there, you move forward.
Let us tell you what we actually teach. Because we're in the academy. Let us show you what we're actually teaching police officers as it pertains to relationships with the community.
So what are you teaching? What are you teaching the kids? I mean, as far as I know, what we teach the officers, but what things are you emphasizing when you say, listen, guys, it's all about respect. It's all, I mean, our ability to be effective begins and ends with our ability to build trust. We got to work hard at that. But what kind of things are you emphasizing with the kids that maybe they're like, well, I didn't know you guys did that?
Well, we teach them what respect is. We teach them what it looks like.
Yep.
We teach them, and then we teach them about what self-respect looks like, which emphasizes how they carry themselves. Then we teach them about teamwork, all working together as a team towards one goal. And then after we build all those lessons, we teach them about community, and then problem solving, the methods and strategies to keep a community bonded, conflict resolution and problem solving. Those are some of the main lessons that we teach them. And then we send them out with the message, imagine if everyone in your community was a problem solver like you.
Wow,
what would it look like?
Great idea. And are they just eating this up? Do you have light bulb moments? Your kids like, wow, I didn't.
Do we ever get
No, but it's funny because I think back to when I was in high school, influencers, role models are enormous. We all know that. Right. Behind every successful person is somebody who believed in them and said, you know what?
Absolutely
you can do a lot. And you guys are all over this. So that I can only see these kids leaving, with the chests out and shoulders back. Wow, we can make a difference. According to Officer Owens and Officer Baxter, if there's more of us, great stuff can happen.
Ultimately what we're doing is that when they leave with a sense of that they believe because we believed.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And that's the transference that we're looking for. We share with them this perspective is that we take two cups and we tell them and we position them and we let them know that what we're doing is we're trying to pour into your cup everything that we know from our own experiences, from our own life experiences, our experiences as police officers, and our experiences as residents within this community. Mm-hmm. And we're pouring all that good information into you. And so we ask them, here's what we don't want you to do. We don't want you to move your cup. Because if you move your cup, all that we're trying to pour is going to go to waste. Right. And so they stay there. They get that understanding.
Great visual, too. You got me like, all right, where's my cup? I want some of this. No, but I mean, so Daryl says we want these kids to know there's a lot they can do. It's all about empowering these kids. Right. What's the one thing, and I'm sure it's maybe a little bit more of the same, but what's the one thing you want these kids to know as well that, in terms of making a difference or being a difference maker?
Well, I think the one thing that we teach that I try to instill in them again is that they can do it. A young lady came to me yesterday, right after we did the interviews with the Globe and the whole bit, and she came over to me and she said, it was Tiara. She said to me, all we needed was a chance to do what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And that just hit me. I said, oh my goodness.
Amazing.
She picked it up. Yeah. She gets it. She gets it.
Well, let me ask you, how good do you guys feel? Because, but not for nothing, though, it's about making a difference if you can. You don't get up, it's not often you get the opportunity to change some behaviors and inspire kids. You guys are doing that. I would imagine there's a strong sense of satisfaction coming from that. Maybe talk about that, Daryl.
Well, Jamie, I had some pretty major surgery 2 years ago. Yeah. And I can remember recovering from that major surgery, and I said, you know what? I want to make some impact. I want the next few years that I have on the planet, however long that may be, I want to make a difference. Not in just one life, but in a lot. And so with that thought in mind, was when I had that conversation with Billy. And he just said, why don't we do this? And that's why my yes was so instant. And I really appreciate our bosses, Billy's captain,
plenty of people to
Davin,
thank.
Absolutely.
my boss, Superintendent Joyce. They fully embraced this vision, and they move mountains for us to have the time every Tuesday and Thursday.
I was thinking that same thing because you guys are setting aside. I'm sure. Well, I know the kids are there for 4 hours, but I'm sure the time that goes into put this program together and mapping out lesson plans and all that stuff. But I want to get your reaction to the same question from I just asked Daryl. I mean, how good is this feeling for you? You enjoying this?
I'm blown away by what I see with the kids. It's amazing, and it feels good to know, as Daryl just began to point out, we have bosses that actually are saying to us, go ahead, take your creativity and put it to use. Go ahead, do what you need to do. Captain Davin, Superintendent Joyce have embraced what we're doing. And so that gives us the freedom to continue.
Yeah.
I mean,
you ain't fighting upstream. You're preaching to the choir.
We're having both deputy superintendents Willie Gross and Deputy Superintendent Halstead coming up to the academy, outreaching to these young people, letting them know, sharing their experiences.
There's something to be said though when you hear an officer, someone in uniform say, "Hey guys, we care about you."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
No. We care about you.
Yep.
We're out there. You need help, we're there for you. Yep. You need someone to talk to, we're a resource. Yep. We want to see you succeed. We're all in this, like you said, Daryl, we're all in the same boat. Right. We all have similar goals. We're trying to make our neighborhoods and communities safe. Right. We got more in common than not. But I want to get to the supervisors, Super Joyce and the Captain Davin, they seem to get it, the importance of the work. Why do they get it, and why do they realize what you guys are doing is so important?
I think they're both experienced police officers. And they know that a police officer's job is to get criminals off the street. But also a police officer's job is to stop crime from happening at its early stages. And we know that the audience of people that we're dealing with, to be a teen is basically to be an at-risk person in today's culture.
Right.
So I think both men fully understand that if we can to intervene in some kid's life and then cause him to be an impact player, not an impact player the way it's traditionally talked about, but an impact player for good, then we've affected more than the 37 kids that we have. We've affected hundreds of kids by implanting impact players into their environment.
Yeah,
exactly.
Difference makers, leaders in their community.
Exactly.
The relationship. I mean, this is about the future. This is about, at its core, relationship building with the young kids and planting these great seeds. But why is that relationship? Just again, same question I asked Daryl. Why is that relationship so important? Why is it important for you guys to spend time with a tough audience? Kids, but maybe maybe that's the perception. Hey, these kids are tough, but maybe not a tough audience. Like you said, when you give them something, when you tell them that you care about them, you want to see them succeed. But why is that relationship so important in terms of, maybe crime fighting?
Well, again, I think the relationship is so important is because we've been given, there's been a negative light shone on the police department for one. Right. And I think it's important for young people to know that whatever their circumstances are, wherever they find themselves, that the police department is a resource for them, that we can eradicate their sense of fear. Yep. Yeah. I mean, if they need some place to stay, opposed to going under the pressures that some street person is going to put on them, come to the police department. We can help you get a place to stay. If you need clothing, come to us. We can help you get clothing. It may not be Nautica and Fubu, all those brand names, but I'm a big
Nautica guy. We can appreciate that. Vineyard Vines.
So we can at least get you something clean to wear. We can get you fed. We can get you the resources that you need. So breaking down those stereotypes, those fears.
You just fear. That's the last thing we want.
Right.
Kids being afraid and having fear. So, maybe a little bit more on that there. So how do you break down that fear?
It's through just confidence building.
Yeah.
We give them. You saw the PT program yesterday, for instance.
It made me really tired. I left there and I went for a walk.
And you just watched.
I just watched. I wanted to get involved, but you said I couldn't. It was for the kids.
That's right.
Daryl, I'll step out. But I did go for a walk around my neighborhood when I went home. But that's another story for another day.
Well, we build their trust through through having them overcome seemingly impossible obstacles.
Yeah.
Billy does a huge public speaking program with them. Yep. Many of them would not want to get in front of a crowd and talk. That's one of their biggest fears.
Everyone's fear is public speaking.
And then the PT program also, but it's not just a PT program where they go and do some push-ups and then we send them to the showers.
Okay.
We talk about lessons learned on the PT field. Yep. We talk about we are the biggest cheerleaders on the PT field. Mm-hmm. They're coming back from a run.
So you guys clapping, you can do it, telling everybody get up, we're all together as a team here. Yep.
And what that does, and then for Billy and myself, when they first meet us, we're cops.
Yep.
We're the police.
Right.
But after a few weeks, we're coach, cheerleader, uncle, friend.
Uncle Billy?
Friend.
Well, great question. So when do you, it's a 6 to 7 week program.
Yeah.
When do you see that change start to take place when they're no longer seeing you as the cop and maybe the adversary, but they're like you said, coach or friend, uncle or Daryl or Billy or whatever?
I'll let Billy answer that because I remain adversary longer than he does.
So good cop, bad cop?
Well, we'll work that from time to time. And we switch the roles from time to time.
There we go.
But I would say right around the third and fourth, the third, maybe the third or fourth meeting.
Yeah.
So that means within the second week.
Yeah, within the second week.
Within the second week, we begin to see them warming up. We begin to see them begin to look for the responses that we're giving them. The confidence begins to change. They become a community.
Yep.
And the biggest, I think the biggest help that we do is help them to reduce their fears. We help them understand that it's okay to be successful.
Yep.
Many young people are afraid to be successful. They don't want to be recognized as the best in the class because that in other environments they get ridiculed for being the best.
Okay.
Well, here we want them to shine and we tell them that it's okay to be the best you can be, and they light up from it and they want to impress, because once they do, we feed them with the inspiration and it just tears down barriers, it builds them up, and they're ready to go.
But are they voicing that stuff to you? Do you have them come up and just say, "Hey, Officer Owens, not for nothing, thank you," or "Hey, Officer Baxter, I don't want anyone else to know this, but this is awesome, I appreciate it." Like, do they put it into words, or is it's more about just you see them just kind of buying in? What form does the buy-in take? Does it?
I think it's both. I think sometimes we just see a change in attitude.
Okay.
And that's very rewarding in itself. But from time to time, they do articulate it. I've had kids slip and call me dad, you know. I've had kids come up to me and say, my favorite conversation with them was, "I didn't even like you at first."
I love that.
That's my favorite conversation.
I love my life too, but that's another. I never liked you, Kenny, but then you grew on me. But that's great.
Yeah.
How about you, Billy? Any like little story or sentiment that stands out?
We have all kinds of stories, but the story that sticks out, it happened in, it's amazing, it happened in June. I was assigned up to the Timothy School, and one of the young men that's involved with the program now, he was out there and he was kind of loudmouth, acting a little off, you know.
Yeah.
And he was the one who was getting the attention.
Yeah.
He got my attention.
Right.
And so I didn't want to arrest him or anything like that, but I just wanted to get to him to say, "Hey, listen, you got to leave the area because you're supposed to be in school."
Yeah.
So, make a long story short, he gave a little chase, and I realized this kid just wants a little chase. So I stopped chasing him.
Yeah.
And immediately as I stopped chasing him, I said, "I'm going to see that kid again."
There you go.
Sure enough, he came into the program.
You're kidding me.
He comes into the program.
Awesome.
And I remind him of it.
Does he recognize? He recognized you right away.
Sure.
But yes, he did.
Yeah.
And I asked him, and he kind of turned away. But the beauty of the story is this. I said to myself, one day I had to chase you.
Yeah.
Today, you walk right up to me.
Awesome.
And you walk up to me because of the relationship that we build now.
Awesome.
That's the program.
That's it. All right, we got a couple minutes left. I got two last questions, and I guess maybe a recap of early stuff. But the best part of this program for you, Daryl, what's the best part?
Seeing people change.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Billy, best part for you?
Best part for me is seeing people change and seeing the collaborations that we've established with ABCD, with MLK scholarships, with Children's Services of Roxbury and YPP. And the BYF, the Boston Youth Fund, because what we didn't mention either is that these kids are actually being paid to be inside the academy. And that's phenomenal. I mean, it's a difference for their summer. They're not out swinging shovels and grass cutters and rakes. They're sitting down and they're getting information
academic scholarship
that they can use.
Learning,
resumes. They can use this program in that way. That we were involved with the Boston Police Teen Police Academy over the summer. I mean, all those things are good things that also come out of this program as well.
Last question. When kids are asked on graduation day what you get out of this, what do you want the kids to say? What are you hoping they're going to say? And as you're about to answer that question, I'm going to hang up my phone because I can talk to my wife later. What do you want them to say? Like,
well, I want them to say that I learned about myself, that I learned that I could do whatever I want to do, that I learned that I have time, no matter what my past is at the ripe old age of 17, that I have time to turn it around and be anything I want to be. That's what I want to hear them say.
That's awesome. Billy, what would you like the kids to say?
I'd like for them to really think and come to the point of realizing that new information can change their minds.
Awesome.
That they're ready to receive new information all the time. And subsequently, that new information can help change their perspective.
Perfect. Year 3, is there going to be a year 4?
Well, year 3 was phenomenal.
Year 3 looked pretty awesome.
We had a buy-in from Captain Boyle at B3, and he sent quite a number of kids and his whole community service team, which was great. Right. Year 4 is already planned. We're ready to go right after the 4th of July in year 4. So we're looking forward to a great year then as well.
Awesome. And you feeling better with each passing year? I just imagine you guys are getting better and better.
Yeah, well, again, our vision is that we're going to begin to have an academy that addresses every district.
Awesome.
We were talking about it and realizing that the command staff that we met, that the program met, all of the command staff, we all took a picture over at the Moakley Park at National Night Out. And so all of the other commanders got a chance to see the program. So just hopefully they'll be able to want to tie into this program as well. So we see it growing.
It's expanding.
And expanding.
Hey, did you tell that kid that you chased that you could have caught him but you just didn't feel like it?
Well, we're also very truthful. That's one of the ways we build trust is we tell the truth. So no, he didn't say it.
Billy, I mean, I know you're a weightlifter first. Long distance second, but I'm sure if you won.
Well,
and in his defense, I don't know a police officer who could have caught this kid. I don't know one. So.
Well, I'd like to say that I caught him anyway.
We did. The program caught him.
How about that? How about that?
Billy, Daryl,
thank you.
Great work, great program. Keep up the great work. And guys, thanks for coming on the show. Totally appreciate it.
Folks,
thanks for watching the show again. On behalf of Daryl Owens and Billy Baxter, I want to thank you for watching Call the Cops. Till next time, have a great week and be safe, everybody. Good night.